Hello, thank you for taking the time to watch this brief video. My name is Dan Scharlach, and it would be my goal that at the end of this video, you might be able to walk away with a few tactics and strategies that might get you a little bit more organized yourself, as well as have an insight as to whether or not Innovative Wealth Partners might be a good firm for you to speak to with regards to financial services products and strategies moving forward. So, without further delay, let's get into the three topics that we're going to discuss today. First is going to be what makes us different. Second is going to be some organization strategies that we can help educate you on that you can utilize in your own personal financial life. And lastly is going to be what it costs to work with our firm. So, without further delay, let's get into it. What makes us different than our competitors? We feel that our biggest differentiation factors are specifically our ability to think outside the box. What we mean by this is basically our desire or our passion to accomplish multiple financial objectives with one product or with less financial resources. Recently, we met with a gentleman in his mid 40s, didn't have a lot of protection attributes that we like to see people have in their financial life, specifically disability, chronic illness, long term care. He was lacking some other insurances. We were able to teach him about some of those places where he lacked protection aspects of planning. We were able to show him that he could incorporate other kind of riders on his life insurance contract, not costing him anything more than what he was paying before he came in and talked to us. But we were able to pick up additional coverage, not cost him anything, accomplish his objectives, and do all this in the confines of the exact same premium dollars that he was utilizing before he came in to see us, just by a simple analysis using our model and trying to help him align his objectives with his financial resources. So, this is an important attribute of what we do. It's something that we focus on with every customer, really trying to make sure that their premium dollars and their financial decisions have as much impact as they can from a positive standpoint on your financial life. Organization is the next thing that I want to spend a little bit of time speaking about. Organization is vitally important if you care about those that will be picking up the pieces and dealing with your issues after you either pass away or have some sort of a health problem or need some assistance financially. We have ran into multiple scenarios where we have helped people do this on our own. And if you're not organized, it takes a long time to track down phone numbers, policies, advisors, and everything else in between. What we have developed is a very lengthy document, I don't know, about 20 pages, that summarizes everything that you can do or that a client can do in their financial life. If you work with us, we'll plug in any products that you have with us. Then we will get that document over to you so that you can plug in anything we don't have information for. Bottom line, what this document will do, consolidate everything on one document. We'll give you account numbers, we'll give you telephone numbers, email addresses, and everything in between so that you can track down all your data after something happens, or so that family members or kids or whoever that may be can track down all the data so that when they have some sort of a catastrophe happen, it is planned for and you're not burdening your family at the worst possible time that you could be burdening them with this sort of information. We also use what we would call is a wealth castle, which is a one page planning model that we like to utilize with clients in order to clearly point out the positives and negatives of financial decisions that could be made. And the key is before we make them. So we can assess the cost of a financial decision using a model before we make that decision. That way, you are 100% comfortable making that decision and utilizing your resources towards that. You know that before you make the decision or the choice. So it's in our opinion a important task to plan for. Costs are the last thing that we usually get into briefly in our introduction meetings. And we feel that it's important to be on the same page with our clients so that they know how we are compensated and how we view our relationship as one that is mutually beneficial. So we don't work for free, and we trust that you understand that. And we have a couple of different methods in which that we are physically compensated. The first is via commissions or fees on products that we would implement. So very similar to how a travel agent would work or a travel site might work that you might visit and purchase a product or service from. It would include a commission. That commission would go to the vendor. That's very similar to how we work. We can also impose a fee or charge a planning fee or even some sort of hourly advice or annual planning fee sort of advice. We really personalize our fee structure to the exact specifications that you might want as an individual. So it could be very simple, very cut and dry. It could be very elaborate. Our products do not have, well, most of our products do not have an additional commission or fee that we are charging. They are most of the time are built into the product. So this is something that most of our clients and customers have found to be mutually beneficial in the past. And then the last way that we are compensated, and we tell people most important way that we are compensated, is you not keeping us a secret. So we have chosen to grow our business in manners that are built on just hard work and quality relationships. And we trust that that will be, again, mutually beneficial. In summary of what we've gone over today, we want to start by thanking you for taking your time to watch this brief video. Second, I want to give you one last story or word picture that will educate why we have spent a great deal of time today focusing on the process rather than the products that we use. So let's get started by simply thinking about how a house or a commercial building is constructed, and then relate that back to what we're trying to create here, which is someone's financial life. Obviously, if you haven't built a house, I've built several, and I would tell you that the first thing that we do when we're building a house is to focus on the foundation. We focus on the footers, we focus on the basement walls, if there is a basement. We focus on the things that we don't see but are vitally important to the integrity or the structure of what we're trying to accomplish. And it's very similar in your financial life. You don't see a lot of the legal documents that you have in place. You don't see a lot of the insurance documents that you have in place. And hopefully you never have to use a lot of the insurance documents that you have in place. However, just because you're not going to use them does not mean that we can skip owning them. Just like you can't skip the foundation in your house and get right to the drywall or the cabinets or the plumbing or the HVAC, you have to go in steps, chronological order when you're making financial decisions or you're building a house. So in our process, we spend a lot of time first focusing on the foundation, making sure that your debt structure is appropriate, making sure that your insurance decisions are ironclad and solid and strong, and that you know why you're making a lot of the decisions that you're making and how that will impact you over the years. We spend a fair amount of time focusing on all the protection attributes or the safety attributes first before we get into anything else. And after that, only after that, we believe that allows us or grants us kind of a permission slip to get into more enlightening and fun topics, such as paying for college, investing money, what the hot stock is, what tax method you should use for making decisions, what accounts we might want to use, what makes the most sense, so on and so forth. Getting into all the fun stuff. But all the fun stuff can only come after we deal with the priorities that you don't see. And that's just something that would kind of somewhat differentiate ourselves from some of our competitors as well. Without boring you anymore with any more details on this, if you do have questions, you can reach out to us and we can fill in any of the gaps. We appreciate your time watching this video. Thanks.